Hey, welcome to another edition of Bluejay Banter right here live at the Let It Fly Sports Bar in downtown Omaha. I'm Tim Kruger. Alongside me is Ross Ferrarini. On YouTube, if you're watching, please hit that subscribe and like button. It helps us out a ton. And joining us today is the boss man, none other than Mr. Marcus Blossom, Athletic Director at Creighton. Thanks for doing this.
Is this my first time on?
I think this is your first time on.
Excited to be here. Especially since I'm with the Godfather.
Hold on one second. We got it. Hey, Val. Yep. Well, I can't hear.
Oh, you can't?
No, I couldn't hear Marcus. Couldn't hear Ross. Could you hear me through the headset?
I can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you perfect.
Really?
Yeah.
I couldn't hear anything. Hold on. Maybe we got a problem with the connections. I don't think so. It's okay if that's the way it goes, as long as the people out there can hear me.
Right.
Oh, they got the TBT going.
Yeah.
We probably should have done a check. We didn't do a check. What's that?
Can you hear me now?
No.
No?
I'm good. I can hear everybody.
Should we do another? Should we try another mic? I mean, I just worry that because it's happened before where then people go, yeah, we couldn't hear you very well.
No.
John Fanta, God, you ever take a day off?
No, he does not, man. He's
all over the place.
Yeah. I mean, he should be making $1 million by how much he works, but I don't know what they give him per. He does bowling and everything.
Yeah, he does everything. Yeah.
And then he was throwing out the first pitch at some minor league game the other day.
He's done our softball championship. He's done everything.
So David Padgett must not be coaching anymore. He coached for a while. I think he was the interim at Louisville after the Patino thing.
Yeah. That's Montrez.
Man.
It looks like he put on some weight.
Yeah, I was just going to say, he looks a little bit bigger.
Holy smokes. Out of the league.
Yeah, he was out of weight.
They said it just came out actually last week.
Do.
With like with the Clippers.
When they were in the bubble. Yeah, I heard about that too.
Testing. Yeah, I can.
I don't know what's up.
This one okay?
Should be, yeah. Because I'm reading on the mics.
I couldn't. Yeah, this is better. It might just need to be turned up a hair, but I can't. Like I can't hear Marcus or Ross.
Really?
But that's not unusual before we start, right?
I mean, no, I should be able to hear. You should be able to hear. Every Marcus and Ross, are you able to hear?
Yeah.
You can hear through your headset. You can hear me fine.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's loud, but.
Okay. Marcus, you can hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
And I second the fact that it's loud.
That is weird. All right. Well, it's a little bit like now. This one's better, Val.
Okay.
Like I can faintly hear myself. All right. Let's start over. Hey, welcome to Bluejay Banter right here live at Let It Fly Sports Bar in downtown Omaha. Tim Kruger along with Ross Ferrarini with you. Watch on YouTube. Thanks so much. Hit that subscribe and like button. It helps us out a ton. And we're going to kick it off right today with the athletic director of your Creighton Blue Jays, Mr. Marcus Blossom.
Tim, thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here, buddy. How, I haven't asked you this since I think we were sitting on the bleachers in St. Thomas, Virgin Islands,
I
which
knew
is
you were gonna bring that up.
long time ago. How have you adapted to Omaha? What do you think now that you've had a chance to get all over the city? What do you think of Omaha?
The funny thing is, I thought you were going to bring that up because this is my first time on the Bluejay Banter. And I think you asked me in St. Thomas like 3 years ago. Hey,
You were a little busy then.
Yeah, you're going to ever come on my show? But yeah, it's been it's been 3 years.
Yeah.
It's been a really good 3 years. Great town. The one thing I think that separates us from a lot of other places I've been is the support, the fan support, the donor support. It's really, really remarkable on what we have going on here in Omaha.
So you're entering year 4 now, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Time's flying. What's been maybe something you didn't anticipate, but the toughest part of the job that kind of surprised you, that maybe that the toughest part of being an athletic director here at Creighton?
It's a good question. I guess you get pulled in a lot of different directions. I would have liked to have been on even this show a little earlier, but you have so many different things you have to take care of with, especially with the student athletes and the teams and the coaches being the number one priority. Oftentimes, I don't, get a chance to get out and do other things as much as I may have anticipated. So that's probably the one thing that's a little bit different and maybe caught me by surprise a little bit.
Do you, because I think the role of athletic director has evolved over the last, say, 20, 30 years. Like, it used to just be a guy that went around donor cocktail parties and shook everybody's hand, slapped him on the back, and away he went. But now you're kind of a CEO, CFO of the whole athletic department. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I don't know if it was ever just, drinking, that's maybe, I just want to give
That's
credit
way
to,
back.
Yeah, to those that have maybe been athletic directors 20 years ago. I think they were doing a little more than that, but you gotta be responsible for every part of the athletic department, from the student athlete experience to the staff and the coaches to the marketing, the fundraising, everything. So if you ignore one particular area, I think it can come back to bite you. So whether it's CEO or not, it's a position that I take the ultimate level of responsibility in making sure I do the best job possible.
You've done an unbelievable, you haven't had that many, but the ones you've had, you've done a great job at hiring people, like really successful people. How are you, there's probably different ways of doing it. Say, for instance, you had to hire a head basketball coach. Okay. I mean, some people say, oh, I've got my list 1, 2, 3. Other people want to go to a national search party and do it.
Yeah.
Some other people like to just, reach out to some guys they know, or maybe athletic directors, what's your kind of process when you hire a coach in any sport?
Yeah, I think each sport's different. You mentioned, we've hired some good ones. I think that's a testament to it's a good job. So I've been at places where it's not a good job. It
Right.
makes it hard to hire good coaches. So I think, to give credit to the community, the fans, the donors, support the university administration in allowing us to have the right amount of financial support for our teams. First, it needs to be a good job. So it was a good job for softball and baseball and women's soccer, a lot of the sports that we've hired recently. So, the first thing I look at is someone that wants to be here. I think you have a better amount of success if you want to be at a place. So someone that really wants to be here, someone that knows the challenges and wants to help elevate the programs to a different level. And what we've seen here since I've been here, I've been able to hire coaches that have had a history of success. That doesn't always happen. Sometimes you have to hire, maybe some inexperienced coaches depending on the job that you have. But the fact that we've had good jobs and primarily all of the open searches that we've had, I've been able to hire coaches that had a history of success.
You mentioned baseball, a very unique situation, obviously. Coach Service, on his last season coming up this next year. Want to send him off the best way. I mean, just an incredible baseball mind. I've been to a lot of those Hilltoppers, and you walk away just going, man, that guy knows more about baseball than anybody I've ever met. And for you to be able to get a coach as high caliber as we got to come in and be in a dual role for a year is really testament to you and to everybody in the athletic department that was able to make this thing work. Tell us about that whole process.
Yeah, timing is everything when it comes to sometimes when it comes to hiring coaches. The good thing about this particular search is, it was different. The coaching waiting piece. Many people thought that might be a turnoff for some potential head coaching prospects, but the coaches that were interested, it was a turnoff for some. Very few though. The coaches that were interested were excited to work with Ed, possibly learn some things from Ed in his last year. Use this 1 year as maybe an opportunity to learn about Creighton, the community, the Big East Conference. So we were able to attract a great pool. Originally, Mark wasn't quite on the list because he was still playing, so that slowed it down a little bit. The search was open, and several of the candidates were still playing in the regionals.
Right.
So it took a little longer to get exactly who we wanted. But once we found out he was available, we kind of put the full court presses on to get him. The thing that was unique about Kingston is he was in a coaching waiting role before. So he was the coach in waiting at Illinois State.
Oh, really?
So I
didn't know
knew
that. Okay.
he was able to handle this particular situation. So that was another attractive part of.
Yeah, because I remember talking to him when he was at Illinois State, because we used to have the tournament, used to be the Missouri Valley tournament.
His first year at Illinois State, he was the coach in waiting. And then his very first year, no pressure, as the head coach, he won the league.
Yeah.
So he used that first year as the coach in waiting. I think he attributes some of the success in his first year as what he learned from that first year.
He's probably a little different because he knew the territory a little better. But I would think some of those Southern coaches that have only coached down the South, I mean, it's not like basketball where it's the same everywhere, right? I mean, baseball is totally different.
No question.
In the South, where they can play all the time.
Having regional ties
here.
was an attractive component.
Yeah.
Obviously, he was at South Florida and South Carolina, but those Illinois State years were important. He also had experience at a private institution prior to Illinois State. He was an associate head coach at Tulane and also assistant head coach at another private institution when he worked at Miami. So there were some experiences that I felt would lend itself to success and an easier transition at Creighton.
There's really, I think, that's part of our whole athletic department that can really take off, because there are so many people that want to see baseball good again and remember the days of bygone back in the 90s and so forth. But now it just seems baseball, just as a national thing on ESPN and everything, just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger every year.
Baseball is big. And we got a lot of work to do to get to the level we want to be, where we want to be. But, we have you look at the coaching staff we have now, and Coach Service, Coach Kingston, Billy Mole was a head coach at South Florida, and Mike Current is a longtime assistant under Kingston. So I think we probably got the best staff we've ever had.
Yeah.
Marcus, I'm curious, and we could probably do a whole podcast on this in and of itself, but, now that we've been a few years here down the NIL road, did you envision it would kind of look like it looks now? And, obviously it's no secret that, football and basketball kind of, ruled the day in college sports. And so some of these numbers that some of these individuals make in football and basketball are pretty large numbers. Did you ever envision it getting to this point? Do you ever even see maybe any animosity from other student athletes that play smaller revenue sports in that capacity? I'm just kind of curious your general thoughts.
Did I think it'd get this high? Maybe. I knew, different, every community at some of these successful programs, they want to win. So they infused, a ton of cash into the programs to win because it's a competitive business. did we think it'd get so fast so quickly? I mean, so high so quickly? Maybe not.
Yeah.
I think the numbers in 1 year, maybe a 30% increase, and then it made double the second year. It is really, really taken off. So that may be something that, I don't know how many people were prepared for that one. The interesting part is it has hit. You mentioned football and basketball, but it has hit other sports too. We just talked about baseball. If you look at the NIL money in SEC baseball, it's
I'm sure. Yeah.
It's enormous.
I heard one of our players that left got a nice nice
I
NIL
don't know what he got,
yeah.
but it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
So it has touched other sports outside of football and basketball. Now we'll see how those trends play out over time. But it is a huge part of college athletics at this point.
And then obviously a little bit about your background. Obviously, you played college basketball, a big hoops guy. Did you ever think about going the coaching route yourself?
You know what? My first year out of college, I coached my high school team. Yeah, I was an assistant coach for my my former high school basketball coach. He was still there at the time, and I didn't. It was fine, but the high school level. Parents were complaining about playing time. And, I was like, and I was doing it part-time. I was working in finance and accounting during the day, and I drive to my high school at night for basketball practice, and that was a 1-year stint for me.
That's so funny because I always wanted to be a coach. Even when I was in high school, I wanted to be a coach, right?
Yeah.
So one summer I coached our American Legion team in a little town in Minnesota.
Right.
And it was just basically something between basketball and football, right? For the kids to do something. Yeah. I couldn't believe the crap I got. I'm like, okay, this coaching thing's not going to work.
We had a good team. We had a Division I player, some Division II players, but it was a lot of parental guidance.
We're talking with Marcus Blossom, athletic director at Creighton. My gosh, I was telling somebody the other day, if Marcus ever wants to write up a story or resume or what have you, the programs since you've been here have just gone through the roof as far as success. I mean, both basketball teams, volleyball, soccer, golf, which was never really on the radar, has done tremendous. And gosh, you've got to just be thrilled with how everything has gone.
Yeah, we've got a fantastic institution that supports our athletic department. Father Hendrickson's 100% behind athletics, and we appreciate his support. We have great coaches. We have coaches that have had success over many years. You look at men's basketball, and this just finished 14 years for Coach Mack, 20 plus for Flan, 20 plus for Coach Booth. They've all had success, and then you had Johnny with a history of success in various roles. You mentioned golf and Coach Burnt coming over and having the best finish in maybe 12, 13 years or so, the best finish in the Big East. So it starts with the administration, the coaches, and the student athletes have been spectacular. I don't think you can do anything without talented, hardworking student athletes. And you look at some of the student athletes we've had on those teams. They've went on to do things afterwards that shows you that they've been, they were pretty good when they were here.
Right. We talked about the programs and so forth, and way back when we were talking in the Virgin Islands, it was like, you were just new on the job, and you were like, it's not following the man. The guy's got his name on a building when you walk into the place.
Right.
Have you kind of gotten now comfortable enough? You've gotten over that. You feel like, okay, this is my program now, my athletic department.
Yeah, it's a team effort. You come in and try to do your best. You implement some changes. It may be different than what my predecessor would have done, but it's all in the best interest of advancing Creighton. So, I'm pretty comfortable in doing that because I know my heart's in the right place, and some of it, not all of it, but some of it has produced some pretty good results. So, if it leads to some success, it might, give you some little bit of leeway to try some different things.
Talk about the challenge of, when we came out of COVID, okay? Obviously, things were thrown in an uproar. And then the challenges, like, and specifically talking about men's basketball, because that's, the most sought-after ticket and so forth and now. And you've got to, like, raise prices to keep up with inflation in the whole world and what everybody else is doing. And so you can have more money to do other things and even enhance the basketball program, yet you don't want to price yourself out of the market. Like, how do you go through that fine line and put that thread through the needle, so to speak?
Yeah, it's a challenge, and it's not something that only Creighton's going through.
Sure.
College athletics, the expenses have risen significantly over the last 10, specifically even more over the last 5. So what I've tried to do is just communicate, where those dollars are going, why we're doing, X, Y, or Z. And the reason has been always to advance Creighton Athletics, which hopefully in turn advances Creighton University, elevates the profile. And I think most of our supporters have understood it, but there is a fine line. You don't want to price people out. You want to appreciate the contributions and the dollars that people have put forward. So we have to balance. You can't always, raise prices. You may have to do some things on the expense side to balance it out and make it all work for everyone. But it's just a testament to our supporters. The fans are spectacular. Our donor base, extremely philanthropic. So, without them, we'd be in trouble.
Now we're going to year 4. Do you have? Might have to ask you this. Do you have like a contract long term, or does it go year to year? How does that work?
I thought I was here for forever. Like, no one told me there's an end to this.
Oh, so you've got a lifetime contract.
Lifetime.
You signed a lifetime deal.
Lifetime.
What? I'm going to have to talk to Father Hendrickson about
Father.
that. What
He
a
told
deal.
Me I'm here forever.
What a deal.
No,
or as long as you think you are, right?
I just try to do the best job I can. And these jobs are performance-based.
Right.
So
people forget about that. Like it's not any different than if you're working in an office and you got to go in for your yearly evaluation. It's the same kind of deal.
So you got to perform in these jobs, whether it's my role, whether it's a head coach role, whether it's an assistant coach role. These jobs are based on performance, and you got to perform. So I just focus on doing the best job possible and let everything else fall into place.
So, what your long-term vision for Creighton? What is it? What do you see? What do you see? I mean,
I start off almost every staff meeting with our number one goal is to be the best men's and women's basketball program in the Big East. We're striving to be that. We're inching up that ladder to catch a few teams that have been in front of us over time.
It's tough when you got a team that wins back-to-back national titles.
So
isn't
that's our goal. After that, it's to certain teams have certain goals. One team may be to make it to the tournament. Another one may be to make deep runs in the tournament. But I think it all starts with being the best men's and women's basketball program in the Big East. That drives our exposure in athletics. It drives our university exposure. Obviously, it's our biggest revenue producer that can help not only those particular two sports, but hopefully it trickles down to helping support the endeavors of the rest of our program. So it starts there.
Is there ever any talk about adding additional sports?
We'll look at it. Some of our sports are, as I just mentioned, basketball. Their function or their role is maybe revenue and exposure and fans in the stands. But we have other sports that bring a totally different dynamics. We have a quality women's rowing program that brings 50 high academic students to Creighton. So they have extreme value. We have a cross-country team that I think they finished first or second academically in the country. So it's not just about competing. It's about bringing quality students to Creighton. So if we feel there's an opportunity to bring quality students to Creighton, that's one. Maybe it's an opportunity to bring a sport that can bring some other exposure and other assets to Creighton. That's a possibility as well.
Big East expansion. What's your thoughts on it, and what do you see in the near future?
You know, we have a great conference commissioner and staff, and in the ADs chime in too. So they always look at opportunities to help the conference. So if there's an opportunity to help the conference, I'm sure the staff will look into it. But we have a great conference as it is. We'd like to keep all the members we have. You know, we've won 4 national championships in I don't know how many years. I'm more focused on maybe we can get one of them. You know.
Well, a school that's always mentioned is Gonzaga. Obviously,
Right.
basketball, yeah, great, but how you gonna pay for all that travel from Villanova?
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
tough.
You know,
But the world's changed. You know,
Yeah.
it's not just regional anymore. Maybe with some of the rising expenses, maybe it goes back to some of that in some sports. You know, who knows? It's a lot of talk nationally about what the changes in college athletics, what that may mean, for sports in general.
Yeah. You had Stanford and Cal in the ACC. Maybe that kind of broke that geographic
Right.
barrier, so to speak.
Right.
You know.
Right, it makes sense for football. They
Sure.
travel, they fly once a week.
Yep. Right.
You know, not even every week. So that's a little bit different than maybe some of the other teams playing multiple times a week.
Yeah. What's the rest of summer look like for you?
Summer's over. It's almost over. We got team.
It's
We
middle
got
of July,
soccer.
dude.
We got soccer reporting
We got-
here
got
pretty
fall
soon.
sports
We got
coming,
fall
yeah.
sports. You know, we got a couple more
Well,
weeks.
it's
but
pretty much year round, isn't
Yeah.
it? Basketball team's been here for what?
Yeah,
They've been practicing
they've
for
been
2
here.
months.
But, so maybe get some time off, and then we're already preparing for fall sports to make sure those student athletes are set up for success.
By the way, I got to mention this. You talked about hiring. Mike Odom is top.
Yeah, Mike's good. Yeah,
He is great.
Yeah,
I
I've met
can't-
him. I've known him for a long time, being in the ACC. He was at Wake when I was at Boston College, so we interacted there, and I always knew he was a great contributor to their staff and a great person, most importantly. So when this job opened, I gave him a call, and he was intrigued. So
Yeah, he's been tremendous.
Right.
Tremendous help to us too.
Yep.
He's always.
yeah,
I can pick up the phone anytime and talk to
yeah,
him.
one
about
of
anything we
the
need.
best guys in the business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna let Marcus go. He's done his Bluejay Banter
Give us
for the
about 25 good minutes.
So do I come
For
once every 3 years, or can I come a little bit more frequently than that?
Well, let's see. Should we set a benchmark that you have to hit in order to come again?
Yeah, you can do that.
A Final
can do that,
Four
yeah.
or something, or
Do that. Yeah.
can you be here next week?
No, I can't be here next week.
Thanks so much for joining us.
thanks for
Really
having me.
appreciate
Thanks,
Marcus.
Marcus. Yeah, appreciate you
That's
guys.
Marcus
Yeah.
Blossom, athletic director at Creighton University. That segment sponsored by Infusion Brewing Company. Wow. By the way, I was down there this week talking with the guys down at Infusion, and they're going all out for a golf tournament. They've got a whole prize package they gave us. They've got and tons of new beers down there. Oh my God! So we got the pickle beer we talked about a couple weeks ago.
That's right. I remember you
That was
mentioned the pickle beer.
fantastic. They've got some new ones. They've got their blonde, their vanilla beans. They've branched out. They've got like a peach one. They've got a mango one. Oh, they're so good. So Ryan was kind enough to give me some samples, and man, are they great. So Fusion Brewing, 2 great locations. Go down to what's really cool is to go down to the tasting room down in Papillion, right off the interstate, basically across the interstate from the Oak Hills Golf Club. They've got a great tasting room down there. Plus, they have a party room that maybe a lot of people don't know about that you can rent out and have for different events down there. And it's really a cool setting. So check it out. They're putting in a pizza oven there. They're doing all kinds of stuff. So things are booming at Infusion Brewing Company. A huge sponsor in Bluejay Banter and also on the Bluejay Banter Golf Tournament, which we'll talk about later. But check them out, Infusion Brewing Company. All right, I'm anxious to talk to you about, we saw the picture we were talking about last week, the picture all over Twitter of you hanging out with the big shots down there in Vegas.
Oh, the dinner with
Yeah.
Coach Mack. Yeah, we had a ton of fun. It was funny. The first person I walked in the restaurant, and the first person, he must have just like been turning the corner or something. I almost literally ran into him, was Mark Davis.
Oh, really?
Owner of the Las Vegas Raiders. So that was, I was like, all right, I think we're in a pretty big time spot if Mark Davis.
That's a guy pretty much everybody would recognize.
Yeah. So it was good. Coach Mack had gotten connected with the head chef at this place, Barry's, and he came over and chatted with us and had a great meal and talked hoops. You know me, I was kind of in heaven for 2 hours just talking all sorts of hoops.
Sam Froling sighting.
Sam Froling, yeah, had some good Sam Froling time. What a unbelievably nice kid he is. And it's interesting. It's like, in the world of basketball, really any sport, but especially basketball, it's amazing like what some development can do for guys. And Sam Froling was a guy who played, 8-10 minutes off the bench for us. He was fine.
I always thought there was a lot there though. Like when he was here, I thought, man,
but he
could develop into
young
something.
And he was a freshman, and he
didn't particularly like school.
Right. Yeah. And he's from Australia, and he's in the dead of the Midwest, and it's freezing and windy in the winter. He just he was homesick, wanted to go back home, and he's ended up having a really good career in Australia, and ended up on the Pacers Summer League team. So we talked a little bit about Australian hoops and whatnot. So it was a good time.
Grant Gibbs?
Coach Gibbs was there. Had some good Coach Gibbs time. Saw some games. Summer League is so much fun. It was the second time I've ever been. You really kind of have to be a hoops sicko to go to Summer League, but it was good. It was watch Baylor, watch Trey.
Yeah, let's give us a report.
Trey played really well. You kind of always at this point, like how I've thought about Baylor's game for a long time. Like Baylor always kind of plays well, for the most part. So he was fine. He fit right in. Trey played well though. Trey showed some ball handling skills, and he just felt. To me, he seemed very comfortable with the ball in his hands, playing in pick and roll and getting some guys involved. And I was impressed with the way Trey played, and so I think he's got a chance to really show himself on a two-way. I really do. I think Froling. I think he played kind of some bit minutes for the Pacers. I mean, he'll obviously be going back to Australia next year. But Baylor and Trey both played well. It was fun watching them.
What do you see for Baylor this coming season?
I would expect that Baylor's going to play some for them. I mean, it just, it depends on, I guess, their health levels. That's always kind of a big component. And it's a long season. There's, few week stretches where guys are hurt and he'll get an opportunity to play more and more. But I just think that he shoots it too well, and he does. Yeah. He does kind of a little bit of everything too well. And another thing about Baylor, his defense looks pretty darn good. He had probably the hardest matchup of all of anybody could have in Summer League. He had in that very first game, he had to guard Jaime Jaquez for the Miami Heat, who was first-team All-Rookie and just a heck of a player from UCLA. And so Jaime played in it. We were all kind of surprised that he even played because he had such a good rookie year that they would even play him in that. But I thought he did some good things defensively, and he has clearly worked hard at that end of the floor to become a much better defender.
He was a stud at UCLA.
He was a stud as a rookie, Tim.
I know.
Yeah, good player.
Well, thanks for that report, Ross.
Yeah, it was awesome.
We'll send you down there next year.
we got to have Kalk.
I don't know if we can hit that restaurant, but
Yeah, we got to Kalk and some of these other guys on some rosters next year and get some.
Yeah, there we go.
Fans
there we go.
To watch.
All right. Hey, we want to talk about another one of our sponsors, West Pacific Dental Group. Dr. Hogan and his staff just do a marvelous job. Again, big sponsors, Bluejay Banter, big sponsors of our golf tournament. And if you have any dental needs, check them out. West Pacific Dental Group. They will sit down, do a consultation with you. They will look after your whole entire health picture, as far as not just your dental picture. So check them all out. It's Dr. Hogan and everybody at West Pacific Dental Group. You'll be glad you did. Schedule? Did you see the schedule?
Yes.
The non-con?
Yes. Very exciting schedule. Obviously, we knew most of us knew most of these games anyways. It's so funny every year. You still hear like a couple of people moan about a couple of the of the lesser kind of low major non-conference games. Just like, God, you get over it. It just,
Who was it the other day
the
I saw,
schedule
though?
is so hard to begin with.
Is it South Carolina or somebody? You should see those guys' schedules. They played nobody. I mean, they've got 10 games that they play absolutely no one.
How about, and I don't mean it to be, like taking a shot at Nebraska by any stretch. I wish them well. I think Hoiberg's a very good coach. I thought their schedule was really not challenging, their non-conference schedule. But, again, it's different, too, for some of these programs now that these leagues are bigger. So, if you are, I do see the other side of it in the sense of, if you are in Nebraska, you don't have everyone coming back. You're not supposed to be some top 10, preseason top 10 team. Now all of a sudden you're adding Oregon and UCLA into your schedules. It does add another component, but yeah, ours should be plenty hard.
Yeah. Challenging. And that Kansas game's going to be awesome,
Kansas
obviously.
game's going to be a ton of fun. At Alabama's going to be a ton of fun.
See, I was thinking about, I haven't looked at their football schedule. That might be when you go down there, catch an Alabama football game.
Well, so it's December, it's mid-December. So
that's true. They'll be done.
They'll be done.
But how does the playoff
they're
thing
doing
go?
the first, they're basically doing the play-in games of the new playoff at the campus site. So
is it that weekend?
You would have, no, it's the weekend before. So you would have to be basically like seeds.
Still be cool to go
maybe 5 through
walk
12.
around the campus and stuff. I always like doing stuff like that.
Oh my God, it'd be great. Yeah.
But that'd be cool game to go see. And obviously the Vegas one.
Yeah, back to Vegas. Gosh, how many years in a row is that for Vegas? Seems like a lot.
3
or 4.
Yeah, that's a long stint too. Tuesday, Wednesday, off Thursday, then a game Friday. And then we have some friends who can't stay that week, but they want to go the weekend before. They go, why don't you come and stay in our condo? I'm like, that's 10 days in Vegas, man. That's too much.
It's too much. I tell you what though, you go to Vegas during that time and you go to some of those sports books, it's about as good a time as you can. We went to the Circa Sports Book the day of the soccer final and the European soccer final. So England played Spain, and then there was all these MLB games on. We had a ton of fun just sitting there watching games. I can't imagine how fun it would be if college football and college basketball were going on there.
We should mention right here at Let It Fly Sports Bar, a lot of you, I'm sure, will come down here during the Olympics. Make sure and come down. We've got a couple Creighton
people,
people on the soccer team, and then also the beach volleyball. Taryn and her partner are number 2 in the world, so they could take home a gold. So that's going to be very exciting to watch.
So her and Duncan McGuire, the 2 Creighton people?
Yes, yep, absolutely. So we'd like to also thank Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. They're the Bank of Bluejay Banter. Check out 2 great locations. One just north of the Schwab headquarters, then one out in Elkhorn, actually right next door to where the new Let It Fly will open in about a month or 2. Fabulous banking. They take care of all your banking needs, so check them out. That's Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Thanks to Doug and all his staff at Equitable Bank. What else do you want to talk about? It's been a while since we've been together.
Yeah, it has been.
I haven't had a chance to check out any of the practices or anything like that, but just get reports here and there, and it just sounds pretty much like regular report. Pop isn't playing because he had some surgery and a hip deal that was bothering him all last year.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, so he's been sidelined all summer.
So that'll be great that he'll be full strength coming into the season. Sounds pretty much like Isaac Trout's really done a lot of work with his body.
Yes, I've also heard that Isaac has looked pretty good.
And then Mason got injured, but not as severe as they thought. So he should be back sometime in September. And then, the freshmen are doing well, but just like every other freshman that's ever walked through the doors of that McDermott Center, have some good days and have some bad days because it's a lot to take in. We had Jackson here that one time, and he said, "Yeah, it's taking taking a fire hose, man.
It's a huge step up in pace and all the information you're digesting, and it's it's like the perfect example of you're now stepping on a floor where guess what? Everybody on the floor with you was the best player on their high school team and the best player in their conference, the best player in their city, the best player in their state. And so it's no longer this, just step on the floor and you're playing against a bunch of kids who are going to join frats in college, and that's that. Now it's a little different now with, some of these kids going to prep school, so they get pretty high level competition.
They're in like the Peach Jam where they play against all those guys and so on and so forth.
But it's still, it's an adjustment. It's an adjustment for everybody.
Yeah, yeah. That's interesting comment. You were here last week. We had Sean Campbell here, and he mentioned that when he went to the Americas Tour qualifying.
Oh, sure.
He goes, yeah, I stepped on the range, and it was just different.
Yeah.
It was like you could just tell everybody was there for a job. Everybody was there to win. Everybody was there totally. I mean, it was like
pro golf.
It was just
ruthless.
a huge. Oh gosh. Yeah, and he said so. It's a huge step up. It's a lot of steps, and it takes a lot of time to, and it's that way in any sport. As we mentioned about it.
Yep.
Val, if you can pop up that QR code for our golf tournament, the Bluejay Banter Golf Tournament is this coming Saturday. Now, if you want to sign up, you're going to have to sign up here in the next day, okay? Because we're going to cut it off. We only have a couple spots left. Otherwise, we have a full field. So hit that QR code. It'll take it to our website where you can sign in, and I would do it ASAP. You can't delay because the tourney is going to be full and or closed up here in another day or two. So check it all out. We have over 12,000. It's our biggest event we've ever had. We're going to have over $12,000 worth of prizes. So many people have been so generous. We've got cruises. We've got resort stays. We've got a $500 putting contest. We've got it all. So if you haven't played in it before, you'll see some Creighton people, I'm sure, playing. You get to see celebrities like Ross, who's going to play with another celebrity, Coach Steve Murfeld.
Yeah.
And Murph will be down. Then afterwards, we're over at Dodge Riverside, 5 minutes away. You come down here to Let It Fly. We're going to have a meal here. We're going to have all the raffle drawings, silent auction items, all the things we normally have. We've got some great Creighton memorabilia stuff, by the way. We've got the big pink out picture in framed. We've got
great.
some fantastic stuff that Doug did for us at the dedication of the McDermott Center.
Oh, yeah.
So he signed a bunch of stuff. There's one, Ross, I can't wait for you to see it. It's even Doug was like just staring at it. It was off an old Big East media guide. And it was when he was the preseason player of the year. So it was an 8x10, so I've got it in it framed. And he autographed, his picture was on half of it. On the other half were the players who were first and second team.
Oh, wow.
And it was amazing to look at it. And Doug just looking like, I don't know any of these guys. Like, it's been that long.
Now I'm really curious. I kind of want to go back and look at what the other All-Americans.
Oh, there's Ross. I'm telling you,
because he was a 3-time All-American.
So it was when we went to the Big East. So that would have been his senior year
last year, which was 20. Yeah. Was that 2014, 2015?
2013, 2014, I believe. Yeah.
Was it that year? 2013.
Yeah, 15. I thought 15 was a year with Grizel and
I think you're right. Yep, you're right. You're right.
But anyway, we've got fabulous stuff like that. We've got a week stay in Hawaii. We got all kinds of things. So as I said, you've got one chance and one chance only to sign up. So sign up as soon as you can. And then you're able to come down here as part of the sign up for the golf tournament. You're able to come down here on Saturday, have a nice meal, listen to Coach Murfeld, and win tons and tons of prizes. So check it all out. It all goes towards Creighton Athletics and NIL and all kinds of things here that we do at Bluejay Banter that, as you know, the landscape of athletics has changed and there's different things we have to do now. So it all goes towards that to enhance our program as well as Creighton's program and everything else. So check it out if you can. It's this Saturday.
Pretty nice first-team All-American. Nick Johnson's probably the one that people would probably recognize his name the least from Arizona. But Nick Johnson, Doug, Shabazz Napier, Jabari Parker from Duke, and then Russ Smith from Louisville.
Russ Smith.
Yeah.
Good player.
Clanthony Early was on the second team.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. Andrew Wiggins.
He was on the second team?
Yeah.
Yeah, Andrew Wiggins doesn't surprise me. He was I think Andrew Wiggins was high. Timberwolves took him a high draft pick.
He was the first, I think.
Was he really?
Yeah.
Okay. By the way, Let It Fly here too. They got their Crawford fight coming up as well in a week or two, so maybe check that out here as well. Can't wait for the golf tournament. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Speaking of golf, what'd you think of Xander yesterday?
I was pulling for Justin Rose.
Yeah, it was kind of cool to see Justin Rose at the top there, getting a little bit
just
older.
A blast in the past.
Yeah.
He was so good. And the difference between him winning it and not was the last day. I mean, he had putts just burning the edges that weren't dropping. He was so close on some. He really only hit one bad shot all day. I mean, he was just gutty the whole tournament. Xander, I kind of figured Xander was going to win starting the day because he was just hanging there. It was just like, man, if there's a guy that's just going to go around this course and shoot like 2-3 under par, well, he shot 6 under par. But I mean, but I got to tell you, Ross, I was like, maybe I'd like to go back to St. Andrews. Now I watch that and I'm like, God, I'd like to go to the West Coast.
You battle the elements, though.
Because what is cool, so Troon, where Troon is, and then Prestwick, where they first held the Open, okay?
Yeah, there's a lot of courses around Troon.
What they have, I saw this on YouTube, they have a tournament where they play like out to hole 10 or 11 or 12 or whatever on Troon.
Mm-hmm.
Then they like go through the parking lot and they jump on at Prestwick. They play that around and then they come back and finish up the end of it at...
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's like a 36-hole. They play that. They go over to Prestwick. They have lunch, and then they play. It's kind of a really.
What's the one that's kind of right out? They have one in the Rota that's like right outside London. That might be Royal St. George's, maybe?
Yeah, that's the closest one to London.
Probably the closest one to London.
Yeah, but it's a ways away, though.
Because I think a lot of people just assume it's always kind of near London.
No.
Really kind of all over.
One of the most famous courses in the world is right outside of London, and it's totally parkland, like a U.S. course.
Right.
Yeah, you wouldn't. Can't think of it now.
Wentworth,
that's it. Yeah.
Well, next year it's at Portrush, Northern Ireland, where Rory kind of grew up.
Yes. I'm not a fan of going to Ireland. I don't know why. The weather's always looks horrible there.
But guys, the weather was terrible this past weekend.
I know, and it's amazing because, although everybody tip that wants to go, our caddies told us last year, they go like over Labor Day, U.S. Labor Day. They go, the weather's always pretty nice here. We don't get the rain. The other thing I heard was if you want to really try and avoid it and avoid the crowds, is to go in April. It's a little cooler. You might have some 50-degree days, but there's not a lot of rain, and you have accessibility to courses because not many people go that time of year.
Got it.
Yeah. But yeah, golf season pretty much, it's weird the way it's set up now. You had the PGA coming. Now you're done.
Yeah,
till the FedEx playoffs, and although we have the Olympics coming up, so that ought to be kind of interesting because Xander will be playing.
Yeah, it will be fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think our team is Xander, Scotty,
we get
Wyndham
4,
Clark,
I believe.
Wyndham Clark.
Yeah, which I don't know why.
And
He's playing awful right now.
Yeah, we do get 4. I can't remember who the 4th is.
It's not. They didn't include the live guys, did they?
No,
they should have. I'd put.
You know what? It actually might be. It might be Bryson. Bryson might be the 4th.
Yeah, he's Mr. USA, man. He would be perfect. Yeah, I gotta admit, I don't follow it too much. Olympic golf.
Yeah,
it's like.
Well, it's relatively new.
You gotta draw the line at some point.
Might be interesting.
Well, hey, we want to thank Marcus so much for being here.
Yeah, it was great.
He was great. He really was. And we've had that's all on me. We've had a couple times where we could have got him and things fell through. And but no, really, we'll have him back a lot more. And great having him on. And I guess we'll see you Saturday. And then we'll I just got a text from somebody asking about the tournament. So there you go.
There we go.
But we'll see you on Saturday, and then we'll see the rest of you back here on Monday for another show of Bluejay Banter. Thanks for watching.